Ducote tells us that he went to meet with a academic counselor. Ooh, Dougie. That ain't gonna go over good with the clown posse. You getting that liberal book learning stuff. They ain't gonna like it, Dougie. But old Dougie couched it by saying that his dream was to be a ancient alien astronaut theorist. You'd fit right in with that, Dougie. You see, you do the same thing they do. Ignore the evidence, make shit up, and lie. You got that down pat, Dougie. Got it down pat, don't you? But since you're starting to think about maybe educating yourself, I would suggest you go to the library. They've got one of those in your hometown, Dougie? I'm sure they do. Well, go in and get you a book on critical thinking. And Dougie, you're going to need to get some help from the librarian on that because you ain't finding it on your own. Nah. Won't find it on your own. Better get some help, Dougie. And you see, when you study up on that critical thinking stuff, it just opens up all kinds of worlds for you, Dougie. You see, all of a sudden, when you can critically think, then you can see the bullshit in somebody's argument. Like yours, Dougie. Like yours, Dougie. Did you see where Trump said today that the scientists and the doctors are just amazed at how much he knows about the coronavirus? Yeah, they're just amazed. Because he's a genius. That's what he tells us. Never mind, Dougie, they set him down last week for an hour and explained the shit to him. And they weren't really sure he got a hold of it. So last week, they're trying to explain this stuff to him. And this week, the doctors and the scientists are just amazed that old Donnie boy knows so much about the coronavirus. Dougie, doesn't that make you stop and think a little bit? Like, do you have any common sense, Dougie? Common sense to say, you know, they set that orange buffoon down last week and explained this stuff to him about the coronavirus. And then this week, the scientists and doctors are just amazed what he knows. Does that sound stupid to you, Douglas Ducote? It ought to. It ought to give you an insight into what goes on in that orange buffoon's brain. It ought to give you some insight, Dougie. Surely ought to. But I doubt if it's going to hit home. I don't think you're figuring that shit out. Because you tell us that Orange Buffoon is just the guy we need to pilot our ship of state. Never mind the world leaders around the globe are laughing at him, scratching their head, thinking, what the hell have you Americans done this time? Yeah. You don't get that, do you, Dougie? You don't get any of that. But as long as old Trumpo keeps up with his racism, you're right there with him, aren't you, Dougie? Right there with him. You ain't going anywhere as long as he keeps spouting that racism and that stupid shit. The stupid shit that comes out of his mouth, Dougie, you see, that's why you need to have critical thinking skills. You see, when you can think critically, you can look at stuff and think, something ain't quite right here. Something ain't quite right. See, critical thinking involves gathering facts, thinking about the logic of somebody's argument. And see, after you master that critical thinking stuff, Dougie, then I would suggest you study logical fallacies from Plato and his merry band of logicians. And maybe you could construct a syllogism. I'm sorry, Dougie. I use those big words that you don't have a clue what it means. And you ain't looking it up in a dictionary because you probably can't smell it. Probably can't spell it at all. Poor old Dougie. His orange buffoon got it all figured out. Those old doctors and scientists that are experts in their field, yeah, they're just amazed that Donnie Dumbshit knows so much. After last week, they set the idiot down and tried to explain this shit to him. You just don't get it, do you, Dougie? But when you try for that little book learning, see your old clown posse, and they're going to like it. They're going to start looking at you kind of funny. So what happened to our Dougie? He went and got some book learning. Now the clown posse won't be able to understand you, Dougie. Because they're about as smart as you are. Which is not freaking smart. Douglas Ducote. Big American dummy.